Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm. This is episode number 20, and welcome back for another video. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend, and I know that last week I had talked about the hopeful schedule that I would eventually be able to get to. That being maybe something like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, as far as releasing episodes go. And of course, there was no video on Friday. And I think I'd even said that maybe even a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and possibly Saturday type release schedule. And that was just not possible last week. And I don't, I really don't know what's going to be possible kind of going forward, and I will explain some things here in just a moment. But anyway, welcome to the channel. I very much appreciate everyone for stopping by, dropping by, and staying around, clicking the subscribe button, becoming a friend of the channel, and of course, liking the videos, giving us the thumbs up, and and of course ringing that little bell so that you're notified when new episodes come out. That's also very, very good, for you and for me as well. But again, hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend. And we're going to kind of here we are on field number 21, and it is a new game day. We're at the 1st of April, and we're just kind of moving things along as we progress here on Calmsden Farm with our second summer, our second season of harvesting. And of course, the first season we only harvested wheat and barley from those two fields in the very first game day, in that August game day. So in this one, in this season, coming into the second year of playing this beautiful, beautiful map, we are taking advantage of planting a lot more fields, and we have been doing a little bit of that in previous episodes, getting fields ready. And of course, right now we are cultivating under the oilseed radish in field number 21. If we just hop out of the tractor here and take a look, we are 100% fertilized out here because we also sprayed this with slurry and got the 50% bonus before we put oilseed radish on it. And we only did that, I believe, mid um, in mid March. So I think what I had told Fury Machine Gaming, I think what I had told Jim maybe a week or so ago, he had asked me how long does it take for oilseed radish to grow, and basically so that you can cultivate it under and get the benefit of that of a fertilizer stage. And I told him that I believed it was just one game day, to do that. And I think that's right. It's either one game day or it's 1 month. And of course, because I can't remember if I planted the oilseed radish on this field first of March, or if it was the second phase of March. But anyway, it does not take a whole lot of time, as I'm showing here, because we have already been able to cultivate it under, and we will of course come around and put seeds down at some stage. Might be the next video. Maybe we do this. Maybe we seed this off camera, and then that way we can do something else. But anyway, that is what we are doing. So I'm just going to get up here to the top of the field here and do a turn, and then I want to give a few shout outs. As I had indicated in a few videos last week, possibly like 17, 18, and 19, it had been awfully cold here in Colorado, awfully cold in Denver, and it is warming up. Today is going to be the very first. Well, actually, I think yesterday, I think Friday. This is Saturday morning, early, very early on Saturday morning, and I think that yesterday it was the first day that we were above freezing, but not by a whole lot. And of course, the friend of our channel, Ranger 62, had indicated that he lives. I believe he lives in Minnesota or Wisconsin, and please, Ranger, don't be angry at me if I've got those states wrong there. If I'm calling you that you live in Wisconsin and you actually live in Minnesota, or vice versa. It's hard for the old man here to remember, but he has talked about that. He left me a comment in one of the videos saying basically that where he lives, it has been cold, much colder here, and they've had um, about 150 inches of snow. And he talks about that his 60-inch snowblower is doing the job. They're getting or earning his keep is what he says, but still doing his job and helping him remove the snow. Now that is one thing that I do not own. I do not own a snowblower. Um, a lot of my friends and previous work colleagues certainly do. They've got massive driveways and or lots of sidewalks around their house, and that is a benefit to them. I've got a very small driveway. My driveway, I can't even park my car in my driveway. It's basically just um, 5 or 6 feet, about 5 or 6 feet in length. Obviously, the width of the driveway is a double car garage, so it's a little bit wider than a double car garage by maybe a foot on each side. But it's only about 5 or 6 feet long, and it's kind of on an incline. And so I've just never really felt that I could justify purchasing a snowblower to blow the snow off of a 5 foot by 12 foot, 14 foot something driveway. And so we just never did. So I do own a snow shovel, and I've got a sidewalk that is about 18 or 20 feet in length that goes from the street edge of the street to my front door. And it really doesn't take me a whole lot of time to tackle that. And of course, I'm a little bit stingy with that snow because here in Colorado, with it being such an arid climate, and we'd never know when we're going to get the next snowstorm, I'm usually throwing that into my flower beds just to kind of help the shrubs and everything along with that, so I don't have to drag the hoses out in January, February, and March. But anyway, as it stands now, we're in the final days of February. March the 1st will be happening very soon here for us, both in the real world, not in the virtual world, because we're in April. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about in this video, and I've made some notes. I've made some notes on my trusty little notepad document that I can edit essentially when I'm upstairs with my laptop, sitting in my lazy boy, just kind of checking the mod hub and participating on Discord or some other forums or such. And then I can also access it on my gaming machine. And so I've talked about this. I have it pulled up on one of my monitors here on my gaming machine. But I wanted to talk about some of the favorite mods that I have found for Farming Simulator 22 thus far. We're about 3 months since release of the game, a little over. Let's see, December, January, yeah. So about 3 months post-release. And of course, I have taken the update. So this is 1.3 with the patch and everything. And so far, everything seems to be fine. I do have one problem that I want to just ask your guys' opinion about. Let me show you when I pull up the map, and do bear with me. Thank you for coming here and helping me. But I have this issue where I can drag the map down, but then as soon as I go into the map, it scrolls all the way up. And this only began happening after the 1.3 patch. Now, I have I've checked my key bindings. I'm not aware of a keybind that controls the map scrolling like that. I've checked my controllers. I do have controllers plugged into my machine that I don't use for farm sim, and it has kind of been a general rule of mine that I am not going to unplug controllers because I've got a lot of controllers, and when I say a lot, I mean a good dozen that are used for flight sim, different modules for controlling my nav radio, comm radio, my throttles, my autopilot, and such as that. And so I've just never been a fan of unplugging controllers when they're not being used, because I'm switching back and forth between games quite quickly, or what's the word I'm looking for? In other words, I'm playing the games multiple times a week, and I would spend all my time plugging and unplugging. But anyway, if you know what might be causing that, or even if you're experiencing it yourself, please let me know. Anyway, so mods that I found in FarmSim 22 that I really, really, really enjoy, and of course, if you haven't heard of one of these or something, and you want to go out and get the link to this, these are all on my mod spreadsheet. Go to grizzlybearsims.com, click on information, and it'll be listed there for you. It's a Google Documents spreadsheet. So under the utilities and script mods category, of course, Courseplay and Auto Drive are just fantastic. Both of these mods have been out for at least 2 months now. They came out probably about within a few weeks after the release of Farming Simulator 22, and they have essentially taken they have been updated quite a bit, and they have grown in their functionality to a point to where that I'm not going to say that they are, exactly what you would have if you went to FarmSim 19 and was playing with those two mods, but they have come a long way to maturity, and they have come in handy here for me in trying to run a map of this size, because we've talked about the fact that these fields are massive, and so a lot of off-camera work I'm doing using Courseplay, and of course I'm using the auto drive functionality features to be able to help in getting grain moved off the fields, the combines emptied, etc. So those are two mods that have helped me out considerably. The second two are kind of paired together as well. That is the GPS, or guidance steering, by Wobster. I thoroughly love that version. That version is in the Giants Mod Hub, and when it's paired with Sim Dashboard, you just have an experience that not only gives you some level of immersion, but it also gives you a lot of features, a lot of aid, if you will, especially in using the two together, GPS. The FarmSim guy, who has a YouTube channel that I've talked about before on my channel, created a couple of sim dashboards, and one that I'm using provides me enough of the information that I need to be able to effectively use GPS with Farming Simulator 22. I can set my widths, I can set my track, I can lower and raise implements. I can do all these things, and it's really through a really snazzy looking dashboard, and I really like it a whole lot. Moving on along, the next one, the UK growth calendar, or GEO is what I've called it, and of course this allows me the ability to go into the calendar here and be able to plant um, these crop varieties. If you're not using that GEO, you go into the base game um, calendar, you're not going to be able to plant several of these items at this particular point in time. There has been an update that since I talked about this the first time, there has been an update to the UK crop geo, and I am planning on taking that update when we get into the December or January timeframe, pending that we're still playing this map at that particular point in time and planning to do another year of it. I would update that crop calendar for this map. The other utility and kind of script mod that I certainly enjoy, that has helped me out, especially recently, and that is the seeding options mod. This is on the Giants Mod Hub, and what this allows you to do is it allows you, especially like the Amazon seeder that I am using on this map, it basically allows you to do seed and solid fertilizer at the same time. And of course, we are trying to emulate a uh, kind of a natural organic farm here by not using chemical fertilizers. that extra storage tank goes unused on that particular seeder. So this mod allows you to convert that fertilizer tank function into the seeder tank function to give you that extra capacity. So that's going to help us out as we begin to seed some of these really large fields here on Calmsden Farm. Finally, the last two under this category happens to be Chop Straw, the Chop Straw mod, which came out not too long ago. That is going to help us here on Calmsden Farm because what we may end up doing here, like on this field here, is we may still plant this with barley if we certainly can. We may plant this with barley and then not worry about baling the straw. But obviously, we will bale the straw on the fields that are closer to the main farm and the dairy. But we could do barley up here on this field and not worry about straw. In other words, just do the wide swath, chop the straw up, leave it on the field, and then come along and cultivate that in, put oilseed radish on top of that, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got your two levels of fertilization, and we don't have to worry about slurry. So that is a possibility. It kind of depends on what Mr. Thornton is wanting to do as far as crops go once we get ready to seed some of these other fields. And then finally, the Power Tools mod. That is the mod that if I hit F12, I get this. This is kind of nicknamed content creator kind of mod because it gives us some things as content creators to do that like add remove money, for example. If we're starting up a new save game and we want to add money up so that we can purchase the equipment and everything, it gives us that functionality. Obviously, this mod had a whole lot more functionality in FarmSim 19, and we're all looking for future updates for that mod to bring some of those other functions to FarmSim 22, like being able to set a field state. That comes in super handy when you have a map update where you kind of feel the need that you need to restart the game, but you've spent a whole bunch of episodes doing some things on fields and whatever, and then all of a sudden an update comes about and you need to take that update, but you don't want to have to start your entire video series over again. You can basically set those field statuses, and so what I would do, I'd go into the map, get my equipment and everything placed back where it all was, and then I would go in and say field number 21, for example. If we had already fertilized and seeded this field, I would basically say, okay, field 21 seeded in barley and 100% fertilizer state, and Bob's your uncle, and that gives you that ability to do that when that mod is further developed. Okay, as we move along, we're at about the 20-minute mark, so I'll start talking a little bit faster so we can get some of these other favorite mods out of the way. In the equipment mods category, now this would include, your tractors, your tippers, and other types of things. The first category was utilities, but now we're going to talk about equipment. And I would have to say that even though I'm not using it on this map, I have used it before. I used it on, let's see what we're going to do here right quick before let's just turn GPS off, and we won't worry about GPS on this field. I did use it on Elm Creek, and of course I am using it on my kind of my personal play on Oldstream Farm, and that is the Lizard 6-meter, 9-meter subsoiler by Black Sheep Modding. And I know that my buddy Fury Machine Gaming also loves this mod quite a bit, and it really, I'm just a fan of. Now that's not my favorite plow of all time. My favorite plow of all time is the John Deere 2623, I believe. That's that huge plow. But the reason why I like the Lizard subsoiler, especially for using it on smaller fields like on Oldstream Farm, is I like the fact that it's a square field or a square plow, a square-ish rectangular plow, and it allows me to plow a little bit easier because it's not my favorite thing necessarily to do and it's just a little bit quicker, and it's great for creating fields as well, because of the fact, since it is kind of square rectangular shaped, you can really get some precise um, uh, angles with it, especially if you pair it with GPS. You can really go to town on creating fields and not having your OCD get too out of whack because your fields are not straight. The next one that I'm really enjoying quite a bit, obviously, is the Kloss Krone Baler Pack with the built-in rake function on the front of the baler. Really, really loving that. Obviously, I've used it here on Calmsden. Really looking forward to using it as we continue our progress on getting more silage bales belled up. Well, even though I'm not using it for silage, but getting more hay and straw bales belled up as we enter our second year here on this map. The third equipment equipment mod that I'm really enjoying is the Keenan Mech 365 mixing wagon that I showed you all a couple of videos ago. That is just super realistic, and I first time I experienced the Keenan mixing wagon was actually on Thornton Farm in either Farm Sim, I believe in Farm Sim 17, and just a fantastic mod, and whoever created that or converted it did a fantastic job with the mod, and it's really a cool mod to have on, especially on a British style farming map. And then finally in this category, my favorite equipment mod category, the Bell Spike by the ARM team. This one, you've seen me use it on the JCB telehandler. It will allow you to pick up easily three bells, but I usually pick up four at a time. It does have the adjustment arms on it that will extend up to so that you can safely maneuver three bells. But like I said, I usually grab four at a time. But it's fantastic, and it's not probably not my all-time favorite bell spike for the game, but at this particular point in time, it is my favorite because some of the others have not made its way to Farm Sim 22 just yet, but I'm sure they will, and I will obviously maybe update my list, or who knows, maybe I will just like this one so much that it will be my go-to bell spike as we continue to play future maps here on Farm Sim 22. Now, of course, the final category that I'm going to talk about in this episode number 20 of Calmsden Farm, is the mods that I wish were in game. And of course, the very first one at the very top of the list, and I will pause just a moment and you can kind of guess as to what I'm going to say, and I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously, I wish the Follow Me mod was in Farm Sim 22. I am missing that tremendously, just simply because in moving multiple equipment from one field to the other, Follow Me is a perfect mod to help you do that. There's obviously other functions, such as you could put Follow Me if you got a tractor that's set up with a mower. You could be mowing, you could be maneuvering that vehicle. You can have Follow Me with the tractor and either the tedder or the rake behind you, and kind of doing two jobs kind of at one time, and wouldn't be unrealistic, because you certainly could do that in real life. But there's many other things that Follow Me will help you with on your virtual farm. And of course, I'm hopeful that it will eventually make its way to Farm Sim 22 at some point in time. I'm kind of wishing that Fury Machine Gaming Jim has been using the small bags of lime on his Old Stream Farm series, because he kind of wants to emulate or simulate being able to go to the store, buy 20 bags of lime or fertilizer, be able to unload them directly from his pickup truck, simulate cutting the bags open, pouring them into his lime spreader or his fertilized spreader or seeder or whatever the case might be, and being able to do that. Very cool, very, very cool. I wish that there was a mod that would allow you to buy an entire pallet, and I don't know how it would work because obviously you'd have the physics of the game, which aren't the best in the world, that would be contributing to bags flying everywhere possibly. But it's possible that maybe in time it could be you'd wrap it because maybe you'd buy it from the store. It's a pallet full of these size bags. They're wrapped. You load them onto your trailer or your truck or whatever. You bring them home. You unload them with a pallet forks. You set them in your barn or your shed or something like that, and then maybe you sort of then kind of like we do with silage bales, you unwrap it, and then you can grab one bag at a time and move them over to your cedar or your lime spreader or whatever the case might be, and then get this, when the pallet becomes empty, the pallet stays, and you have to load the pallet up in a trailer or a truck and carry it back to the store, and you get a credit for the pallet for bringing the pallet back. How real world is that? Because I mean, I know some people just keep pallets or just burn them or whatever, but I believe in some areas, sometimes they do give you credit on this. I've heard 10th generation dairyman talking about this on his YouTube channel about carrying pallets back to the place where he gets his mineral feed and stuff like that from, and they basically give him a credit or an exchange or whatever, kind of like we used to do back in the day with our Coke bottles and stuff. And then and finally, I kind of wish that, well, not finally, because I've got one more after this one, but I kind of wish that we had like a pallet jack, where when you unloaded, say, a pallet of fertilizer into your barn that has a nice flat concrete floor, you might have like a pallet jack where you could maneuver it underneath the pallet, pump it a couple of times, lift it up, and then move that pallet around on that concrete floor. That would be kind of cool. And then finally, playing a map like Oldstream Farm and where that little garden is, and we have the same similar setup here on this farm or on this map, I believe, is you have these little tiny plots of land that have been set up as gardens. Now, how cool would it be if we had some equipment like little hand operated rototillers, push style fertilized spreaders, things like that, where you could take that ground, that virtual field, if you will, and kind of manage it by hand and simulate planting a garden of things that could be harvestable. Maybe not hand picked or anything. Maybe have to kind of go up to something, and it will tell you that the tomatoes are ready or whatever, and you press R or some other key to harvest those. But at least you could kind of you could rototill the field. You could seed it and everything kind of by hand, and give people that are playing some of these smaller maps that would like to be able to simulate having a small kitchen garden. Might work well if you're doing something like a B&B themed kind of thing like I've done with Elm Creek, where you would have the ability to do that. And it wouldn't be far-fetched. I mean, my granddad, I've talked about him numerous times in this series, and he had big farming, had lots of acreage and everything, but also obviously had small gardens that provided the food that they put on the table, tomatoes and other things, that lettuce and such, potatoes and such as that went onto their kitchen table, came from a small garden that he and my dad and my grandmother all sort of maintained and managed. And that would be kind of cool if we had the ability to do it. Now, of course, I know that there's always people that are wanting to do different things with this franchise. Obviously, this franchise is about farming. It's about big farming, or little farming. It's not really a personal garden garden simulator. There might be a game that's called that. Maybe there's a niche market for something like that. I'm just kind of thinking out loud and thinking how cool it might be to have some of these other functions, because all we're talking about is really some programming in creating the models and everything, to be able to accomplish those kind of things. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be a wrap for episode number 20. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I would enjoy reading your comments on some of the top mods. You don't have to necessarily list out 15 or 18 or so like I did. Obviously, I needed enough on my list to give me something to talk about for 30 minutes. But I would really enjoy reading your comments about what your favorite mods are. Maybe even challenge Fury Machine Gaming Jim to devote a bit of time on his episodes, one of his future episodes, to telling me, as I watch each of his videos, but telling his channel, his family, as he calls them, what some of his favorite mods are in FarmSim 22 that he's discovered, that he's sort of relying on and using. But if you do the same, that would be much appreciative. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and I know this video is going to be a little bit long, and my apologies for that, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera, and then we will probably come back for episode number 21 and either seed 23 or go back up to 21 there and start seeding that and whatever we're going to plan to put down here. Obviously, we can't plant wheat anymore. The window is out on that until the fall time frame. But we already have a wheat field that we planted last fall, and so we can do barley, we can do canola. Can't do corn or soybean just yet, but I don't think that we will mess with soybean. We might do corn over on the field that used to be sunflowers that we grabbed last fall. We will just see. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Very, very much appreciative. I hope that you all are enjoying your time with family and friends, and enjoying your time here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. And please come back again and watch more videos. Hang out with me as I do virtual farming here on Calmsden Farm. And thank you all again for watching, and take good care of yourself, each other, all those around you, and I will see you for the next episode very soon. Bye for now.